Number 5. The Somerton Man. The mystery of the Somerton Man, also known as the Tamanshud case, is one of the most profound and baffling unsolved enigmas in Australian history, a Cold War-era puzzle involving a dead body, a secret code, and a torn piece of paper. On December 1, 1948, the body of an impeccably dressed, unidentified man was found slumped against a seawall on Somerton Park Beach in Adelaide, South Australia. He had no identification, and all the labels on his clothing had been meticulously cut away. The autopsy revealed that he was in peak physical condition and had likely been poisoned, though no trace of the toxin could be found in his system. The case took an incredibly bizarre turn weeks later when a tiny, tightly rolled scrap of paper was discovered hidden deep within a secret fob pocket in the dead man's trousers. The paper contained just 2 words printed in an elaborate font, Tamanshud. Translating to ended or finished in Persian, the phrase was the closing words of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a famous 12th century book of poetry. This discovery launched a massive nationwide search for the specific book from which the paper had been torn. Miraculously, a local doctor came forward, revealing that he had found a copy of the very same edition tossed into the back seat of his unlocked car, parked near the beach around the time the body was discovered. Upon examining the recovered book, police uncovered 2 more stunning clues on the back cover: an unlisted telephone number and a faint, indented string of random letters that appeared to be a secret code. The phone number led investigators to a local nurse named Jo Thompson, who lived just a short walk from where the body was found. While she firmly denied knowing the dead man, witnesses reported that she seemed visibly terrified when shown his plaster death mask. To this day, the cryptographic code found in the book remains unbroken, frustrating military intelligence experts and amateur sleuths alike, leading to widespread speculation that the Somerton Man was a Cold War spy assassinated before he could complete his mission. Number 4. The D.B. Cooper hijacking. The hijacking of Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 on November 24, 1971, remains one of the most audacious and perplexing unsolved crimes in the history of the FBI. A man traveling under the alias Dan Cooper, later popularized by the media as D.B. Cooper, boarded the Boeing 727 in Portland, Oregon, bound for Seattle, Washington. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a chilling note to a flight attendant, claiming he had a bomb in his briefcase. He demanded $200,000 in ransom, which is over $1.5 million today, along with 4 parachutes and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle. What followed was a daring mid-air heist that would cement Cooper's status as a legendary fugitive and baffle investigators for over half a century. Upon landing in Seattle, Cooper exchanged the 36 passengers for the ransom money and parachutes, ordering the flight crew to take off again and head toward Mexico City. He stipulated that the plane must fly at a low altitude of 10,000 feet, with the landing gear deployed and the wing flaps lowered to reduce speed. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, while flying through a treacherous rainstorm over the rugged Cascade Mountains, Cooper accomplished the unthinkable. He lowered the aft air stair of the Boeing 727, strapped on a parachute, clutched the heavy bag of ransom money, and jumped into the freezing, pitch-black night, never to be seen or heard from again. The FBI immediately launched Norjack, one of the most extensive and prolonged manhunts in American history. Despite recovering a portion of the ransom money years later, 3 packets of rotting $20 bills found buried on a riverbank, no trace of Cooper or his parachute was ever discovered. Over the decades, thousands of suspects have been investigated, ranging from experienced paratroopers to disgruntled airline employees. Yet, the true identity and fate of D.B. Cooper remain a complete mystery, leaving behind a legacy that has inspired countless books, movies, and amateur sleuths obsessed with solving the ultimate aviation enigma. Number 3. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann. The disappearance of 3-year-old Madeleine McCann on the evening of May 3, 2007, is arguably the most heavily reported and scrutinized missing person case in modern history. Madeleine vanished from her bed in a ground-floor holiday apartment in Praia de Luz, a resort town in the Algarve region of Portugal. Her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, had left Madeline and her two younger siblings asleep in the apartment while they dined with friends at a tapas restaurant just 15 meters away. The parents took turns checking on the children throughout the evening, but at around 10 p.m., Kate McCann discovered that the bedroom window was open and Madeline was gone, plunging the family into an unimaginable nightmare that would soon grip the entire world. The initial Portuguese police investigation was widely criticized for crucial early missteps, including failing to adequately secure the crime scene and delays in setting up border checkpoints. As the days turned into weeks, the media frenzy reached unprecedented levels, with the McCanns themselves tragically becoming the focus of intense suspicion and relentless tabloid speculation. In a highly controversial move, the Portuguese police formally named Kate and Jerry as suspects, or arguidos, a status that was eventually lifted due to a complete lack of evidence. The case became a complex international mystery, involving multiple police forces, private investigators, and a staggering number of unconfirmed sightings across the globe. Despite numerous extensive reviews by Scotland Yard and the identification of new suspects over the years, including a convicted German sex offender named Christian Bruckner, Madeline's fate remains unknown. The profound tragedy of her disappearance continues to resonate deeply, serving as a heartbreaking reminder of every parent's worst fear. The enduring global fascination with the case is a testament to the unresolved pain of a family searching for answers, and the haunting reality that a child could vanish so completely without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that has spanned almost 2 decades. Number 2. The murder of JonBenet Ramsey. The murder of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey on Christmas Day in 1996 remains one of the most baffling, tragic, and intensely scrutinized unsolved mysteries in American history. The young beauty pageant queen was found brutally murdered in the basement of her family's affluent home in Boulder, Colorado, mere hours after her parents discovered a bizarre, 2.5-page ransom note demanding $118,000. The horrifying juxtaposition of a festive holiday setting with such a vicious crime shocked the nation, immediately turning the case into a media circus and plunging the local police department into chaos. From the very beginning, the investigation was plagued by critical errors, contaminated crime scenes, and a relentless public obsession that continues to this day. The discovery of the ransom note itself is one of the most perplexing elements of the entire case. Written on a pad of paper found inside the Ramsey home, the exceptionally long and rambling letter demanded an oddly specific sum of money, an amount almost identical to a recent bonus John Ramsey had received. The note claimed to be from a small foreign faction, warning the parents not to contact the police or their daughter would be executed. However, despite these dire threats, Patsy Ramsey immediately called 911. Hours later, while searching the house with family friends, John Ramsey discovered his daughter's body concealed in a basement wine cellar. She had been struck on the head and strangled with a garrote fashioned from a paintbrush handle. The initial investigation heavily focused on JonBenet's parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, fueling a massive media frenzy that convicted them in the court of public opinion. However, the forensic evidence was wildly inconsistent and pointed in multiple directions. Unidentified male DNA was eventually found on the victim's clothing, which did not match anyone in the Ramsey family. In 2008, citing this new DNA evidence, the Boulder County District Attorney officially cleared the parents and their son, Burke, of any involvement in the crime. Despite this exoneration, conspiracy theories continue to run rampant, with amateur sleuths analyzing everything from the family's behavior to the bizarre wording of the ransom note, desperately searching for a definitive answer. Number 1. The Golden State Killer. The Golden State Killer, also known as the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker, was one of the most prolific and elusive serial offenders in United States history. For over a decade, between 1973 and 1986, this shadowy predator terrorized the state of California, committing at least 13 murders, over 50 sexual assaults, and hundreds of burglaries. His crimes were characterized by extreme sadism, meticulous planning, and a terrifying ability to vanish into the night without a trace. Despite leaving behind physical evidence and a trail of traumatized survivors, the killer evaded capture for more than 40 years, casting a long, dark shadow over the communities he ravaged. The killer's modus operandi was intensely psychological and deeply disturbing. He would frequently stalk his victims for weeks, learning their routines and identifying the layouts of their homes. Often attacking in the dead of night, he would wake his victims by shining a blinding flashlight in their eyes, before binding them and subjecting them to hours of terror. He taunted the police and his victims, sometimes calling them on the phone years later just to breathe heavily into the receiver. The sheer scale and brutality of his crime spree left California law enforcement agencies frustrated and desperate, unable to connect the seemingly disparate strings of crimes until DNA technology eventually linked them together. The breakthrough that finally unmasked the monster came in 2018, utilizing a revolutionary and highly controversial technique known as genetic genealogy.